And so this document includes the staff recommendations. We've also, since the August meeting, had some additional public input sessions, and so this document includes that as well. So the discussion point for you all today is to just kind of take a look at some of this stuff and give your input that we'll then take to the full commission retreat, to start winnowing out things that we think aren't necessary to include in the plan, and the things that we do want to include in the plan have, that they're worded the way that you all want them to be worded.
Thank y'all so much for putting the time into providing us your thoughts and your inputs. I'm curious on, when I'm reading like what's highlighted currently, number of individuals volunteer more than one time. Are you all able to, from my standpoint, the input that I need from staff is more of like the data, because for me, I don't really know logistics of the numbers. Like, to me, I might think having 25 more individuals volunteer per year is realistic. And you all may see in a data site, like every year we're only having 2. So 25 might be a stretch. And that's more of what the information I would appreciate and value your input on as a staff member, is like, what is the data that can support it? Because I think having more volunteers, is something we've said previously, and I love that, but I just don't know explicitly what number should be included, or what percentage should be.
Yeah, and that number of, and so I also, just for additional context, the commission at the August meeting agreed on the outcomes for each focus area, and for this specific focus area, the commission actually developed those outputs that are at the top, those that are said that are under the proposed 8.8.25 outputs. Those are ones that the commission developed, and then the staff did a little bit of work on them. But and Anthony can talk a little bit more about this. The using the Tennessee Serves platform to try and figure out how many people volunteer more than once a year is a little more difficult than what we thought it might be. It's not a simple and straightforward thing. So, and in terms of the other stuff that's there, so the sub portal license holders collect slightly different data on their volunteers. So anyway, Anthony, do you want to say a little bit more about the data? Because that note there, that the part that's highlighted, that's a note that Anthony added into that document.
To the comments, to Jim's point, it's kind of hard to collect the real data that we're looking for. A lot of our sub-license holders collect different data. For example, age, some may collect it, some may not. So if we wanted to say how many volunteers were in this age group, we would only get skewed data. So, because again, some agencies are doing it. We could, I think we're going to look into ways that we can make sure the data that we collect is kind of what we want. So we can change that in the future, but it may take a while to get that data leveled out to where it needs to be to get a baseline. But we can collect this data here, like repeat volunteers, how many volunteers who are responding to different opportunities, age distribution. Again, that will be something that we'll have to kind of work on with our partners to make sure that they're collecting it. And then rural counties, we can do a good job at pretty much getting that. However, again, it will be skewed a little bit until we make sure that all our sub-license holders are collecting that info.
Yeah, that's really helpful. Thanks for that update from the both of you. And so, even though we may not have specific data, from your expertise, do you have an idea of what's realistic? Truly, what I'm saying in the simplest form is, I don't want to create a plan without staff input, because we are not the ones who execute the work. And so I just want to make sure before we give an unrealistic number, y'all are like, this is actually realistic, and
Yeah.
you guys are the experts in the room.
Yeah, and I think we should be able to. I mean, the plan is for the staff to be able to provide provide as best we can the data that you're talking about right here for the retreat. We just don't have it yet, but I think we will have like at least some baseline stuff, even if it's not perfect data. We can at least say, here's based on the information that we're currently collecting. Here are the numbers for example, the age distribution, and keeping in mind that data is skewed because not everybody's collecting it, but here's what it is right now. So we'll have that for you for the retreat. So I think at that point, then it will be the commission members will be able to look at that data and say, okay, well, based on the data that we have, we think that these numbers going forward are, either a stretch but achievable, and we want to do a bit of a stretch, but we want to make sure it's realistic. We don't want to have stuff that just isn't achievable. So, you all will be able to give your input on that once we get to the retreat. And of course, the staff will all be at the retreat too. So if the commission is suggesting things that staff don't think is realistic, then folks will say so at that time. I think. I don't know, Destiny, I don't know if that answers your question, but I think we'll have the stuff that you need.
Yeah, that's really helpful. Again, I think our August meeting, at least for our committee, we were all down and set with what was already put out there. We like where we're going. We just, for me, I just wanted to plug and play information to go in. Of like, we know we want individual increase. We know we want this, but what do we want to increase it by or increase it to? And so that's what I was looking for from you all.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. And this, again, this one that we're looking at right now is the most developed of any of the focus areas, because the commission actually did develop some proposed outputs that are there at the top. And the way this document is structured, so the commission proposed outputs are at the top. Then based on the staff work, the staff developed some additional outputs for each focus area. So you can see that second one there, or that second underlined section there, proposed output staff. And that one's related specifically to the corporate social purpose network. Then the section under that is stuff that we got through the public listening sessions. So input from the public on possible outputs. And then the sample outputs, which is the last underlined section, those are outputs that the commission has used in previous plans, just as a comparison to see, are we straying really far from what we've done in the past, which is fine. I mean, the commission can decide to go in a different direction, is totally fine. But just as a comparison, so I think that the thing for you all to do now, and again, the commission will pick it back up at the retreat, is to think about, okay, out of those staff suggested outputs and the public suggested outputs, are there any that you want to add in and essentially bring up to the next level to say, yeah, we think these should be taught more at the retreat, or are there ones that this committee thinks we should delete these completely? I don't think you don't have to worry about. So for example, that that staff suggested output where it says number of volunteers activated, we don't need to worry about the actual number at this point. Like we can figure out the number later, but do you all as a committee feel like that's something that should be included in the list of things that the commission discusses at the retreat? That will be helpful input, and then we'll combine all of the committee work and the committee suggested edits or inclusions and exclusions for the retreat, and then as a group, and then also in committees, you all will discuss it a little bit more. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yes, that makes sense. And um, from my awareness, we'd be doing all this on the very first day, correct? We start
Yeah,
this on the
yeah,
first day.
right.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry, just for
yeah,
my attendance purposes. That was a
yeah,
selfish question. Sorry,
yeah,
LaShawn, I've
right.
been talking this whole time. Did you have something to add?
You are absolutely fine. You have said a few things that I was just going to mention. Two, seeing the staff's input and then also the public's outputs that they have here as well. I think that there is, trying to find words this morning, recognizing the work in which the staff does and also the public and what they're doing and providing this information. I do suggest that we do take into consideration their what they're saying, because if not, then it's kind of like, why are we even asking for their input if we're not going to do any of the things listed on here? So from a board perspective, of course, when we meet, we can talk more in detail about that. But and some of these things may be, achievable. Some of these things may be, a long-term goal that we're looking to do, but just want to keep it out in the front so that we can once again continue to build upon the relationship and the trust that they're instilling in us, that we're listening to what they're saying to
I
be
definitely,
incorporated within the plan.
I definitely agree with that. And even I've, Jim, I have a question. If it doesn't make it quote unquote in the plan, those could though then be our, I don't have better words than this, tactics
Hmm.
that we use to help increase
Hmm.
engagement, right? Like we may
Yeah,
not put connect like-minded volunteers together, right?
right.
But it could be an output that we don't mention, but I'm just asking those questions, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah. No,
okay,
no, it could be a strategy to lead to some other
okay.
output or outcome for sure. Yeah. Um,
N-
yeah.
Now, do you want those decisions made today? I am asking because I know there's just LaShannon and I on this group, and so there are not on the group on this meeting from the group, and so that we might want other input before we go forward.
Yeah. Well, so all the other committees are going to do the same thing. So I wouldn't worry too much about the fact that there's only two of you on the meeting today.
Okay.
I would say for the two of you, and you can approach it however you want, but you could do like just a simple up or down vote. Yeah, yes, let's include it, or no, let's not include it, and
Okay.
just kind of zip through each one. I will point out one thing that might be of particular interest to this committee because it deals with youth and youth service. That first public input. Um, the kind of the suggestion was to have like different levels of recognizing different levels of volunteerism so that you might have like a Girl Scout badge system or something
Mm-hmm.
like that for like so for a volunteer who volunteers for multiple agencies, they get some sort of badge. A volunteer who volunteers over a certain number of hours would get a badge, et cetera, so that you try to almost gamify
Mm-hmm.
the
Hmm.
volunteering for the individual volunteers. Uh, anyway, um, that's that I thought was something that might be of interest to this committee. And again, that doesn't have to be that could be one of the strategies and not necessarily an output or an outcome itself, kind of like what you were saying earlier, Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it doesn't have to be included in the actual written text of the plan. It could be part of the committee's um, uh, work towards achieving one of the outputs or outcomes.
Yeah. And um, how would this differentiate? I think this is a swell idea. I just don't want to encroach on what we do with the Ward of Excellence. And so I want to ensure that what we do, because I think it's great that we are supporting the Ward of Excellence and not overshadowing the Award of Excellence. Like I don't want someone to say,
Yeah.
"Oh, this is enough for me."
Yeah,
So
sure.
maybe
No,
Destiny. Oh, go ahead, Jim. Sorry.
no, LaShawn, go ahead. Yeah.
I was going to say maybe this is another path to have some alignment. So once again, if you're getting 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, whatever it is that we decide to name it, that is something they can put in their application and say that, hey, we are a 3-star organization, or we have volunteers that are 3 stars, because that's going to give them more clout because we know what those numbers are and what the range is. And so therefore maybe it's complementing it versus going against it. But that's something, of course, we'll need to talk to the committee about to see if there's something we can include in there. But I think that is another way to help promote and market it, to say, okay, hey, not only do we have, these levels of volunteers, you can also apply for awards based off of your level of volunteers. And maybe we have a level, a 1-star volunteer or 2-star volunteer award that's presented as well.
Okay. And we do more of organizations with AOE and less of individuals, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think what LaShawn was saying is a great idea.
Yeah.
So the one that we're on right now is focused on individuals. So we're talking about at the individual level, an individual volunteer, are there different badges or whatever,
Okay.
whatever you want to do to encourage individuals to do different things as volunteers. The next section, the next focus area is focused on organizations, and that's where the AOE falls into place. But I think LaShannon's
Yeah.
suggestion of like that could be part of the AOE application, like how many of your students have met the whatever 3-star
Yeah.
level of volunteerism or whatever that thing might be.
Okay.
That could certainly be included as part of that AOE application for the individual schools. But this one really is more about the volunteers themselves.
Okay.
So I don't think there's any tension in or any conflict with having a tiered system for volunteers, because I do think it could tie into the organizational part that you'll look at next.
Honestly, I love this brainstorming session. I know that wasn't what this was supposed to be, but
No,
with
this is
that
great. This is good.
with that being said, Anthony, let's go ahead and thumbs that one up. That we think that one should be put into an output. And I think both of what LaShann and Jim said could really foster that. For people who don't have an organization, they still get recognized. And then for people who are a part of organization, that can assist them in their AOE and draw attention to the AOE application.
Yeah, and just a technical note, Anthony, I think if you'll highlight that in green, that'll like we'll do green for go, yellow for you're not sure, and red for delete it. We won't actually delete it from the document. We'll just highlight it in red if the committee thinks it should be something that shouldn't be included.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to revisit these as well, or go down?
Oh, I forgot we had some above. I thought we were doing something here. We can
No,
go
you did.
revisit.
Well, yeah. Well, again, so back, Anthony, if you'll scroll back up to the top, the ones that are there at the very top, those are the ones that the commission kind of
already agreed upon.
already agreed on at the August meeting.
Okay.
I mean, that doesn't mean that it's set in stone by any means. So if you have input on that, you can certainly do it now.
I don't think we need to go back and unravel anything we've already done. That's just my opinion, though. LaShann, I'm open to hearing further. Okay. I think LaShann's good too.
Yes, I am. Sorry.
Okay.
I was trying to
you're
get off
fine.
mute.
You're fine. Okay. 2.
And for the second one, so the first one was the only focus area where the commission actually decided on outputs. So all the rest of them are just going to be either staff suggested outputs, public suggested outputs, or outputs that we've used in previous plans. So
Okay.
it's more of an open field.
Okay. Now, sometimes I get confused on what we have done in FOS, because I know we may be doing a little bit further. But in our committee, have we already created outputs that we thought fit in there in our last couple of meetings? or do we only do what's under the bold volunteer placement grant?
Hold on just a second. Let me open up your
Okay.
previous document.
And I only ask because I want to make sure everyone's voice on the committee is
Yeah,
represented.
sure. Yeah. So I'm opening up like an earlier version of this. And sorry, I don't see
And okay, that's okay. I just don't want
well,
to.
no, it's in here. It's in here. I can't. I'm having trouble identifying quickly the Anthony. If you don't mind, you'll switch screens with me. So this is the previous combined committee. Sorry, and again, I can't find the foundations of service specific, but it was broader type work. So
Okay.
mainly looking at kind of the needs and you know, again, some of this is pretty broad of ideas of things that should be included as needs. So then there's some other stuff here. I think what we did is we kind of combined. Sorry, let me stop sharing my screen. I think the document that we had at the August meeting included kind of all of that input from the various committees, and then we took that, the staff took that and kind of narrowed it down a bit. Let me open that one instead, because I think it's a little bit closer to the format of the document you were just looking at.
Okay. And Jim, hear me out. The reason why I
Yeah.
was asking that is, again, because I don't want LaShannon and I to make all the decisions for the committee,
sure.
which I trust us and I think that they trust us, but I also want people's voices to be heard. So I'm just curious on if we can send this recording of this meeting out to the committee so they can be
Sure.
prepped. So when we meet, they have already highlighted the ones that they want to keep and what they want to get rid of. Because I don't want to spend so much time when we get to the retreat focus solely on us saying bumping yes or no if they've already had time to look at it. And I know you sent it out to us. I'm not saying you didn't, but hearing it vocalized makes more sense on what you want from us.
Yeah. And so the document that I have up now, this is what the commission looked at the August meeting.
Okay.
And so it includes all the different committees, individual input from earlier on. And so for this one, Foundations of Tennessee Serves participation. So what we did for the document you were just looking at is like that. All of this committee input was kind of condensed down into things that weren't, this document is 7 pages long. So it kind of it condenses stuff a good bit. And so it includes things, like this Tennessee Serves participation is included in some of the suggested outputs as specifics.
Okay.
Instead of just participation, it's like we'll have X number of volunteers, we'll have age-related distribution, we'll have et cetera, et cetera. So it's included in there.
But we're still looking for the specifics now.
Now we're kind of looking at what gets included, what doesn't, in terms of just, again, broadly, the specific numbers. Sorry, Anthony, you can put the sheet that you have back up, I think. In terms of the numbers, if you all have suggestions for numbers, we can certainly talk about numbers at this point, but I think that is also something that the commission can tackle at the retreat. So for
Okay,
example, that first one, number of trainings provided by Volunteer Tennessee subgrantees will increase by a certain percentage. That's something that the commission, I think, will need to, if you all have suggestions for that, you can add it in. But that's something I think the commission will need to work out at the retreat.
yeah, thank you.
yeah.
And for me, again, that still goes, I'm always going to send it back to specific numbers.
Yeah.
What is realistic for you all to accomplish? Because you are the ones out there doing that work. So for me, I feel good with that output, but then I would turn back to you and say, okay, what number is realistic for your team to get done? What percentage is realistic for this to happen? Because at the end of the day, you know, we don't execute the work, we only get to govern it. So I don't want to tell y'all to do something that's not realistic for where we currently are in this economy.
Sure.
And so, LaShannon, I don't know if you have anything else to add or if you feel any kind of different. And I'm not trying to add extra work to staff, but I guess it is extra work in the front, but I whether you all put that input in now and then get this back.
Oh, yeah,
and be like,
yeah.
What the heck?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And again, we'll have, so for example, that one, the number of counties participating, like that's an easy, well, we can tell you last year, we can tell you how many have said they're going to participate for the current year, but we don't know how many will actually come through. So that kind of thing, I mean, we can provide those numbers for you at the retreat.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And you know, but the percentage increase, that's there when we'll need some input from the commission to say, like, what's a reasonable expectation for not only just the staff, but also through the work of the commission, can we increase the number of counties that participate either on an annual basis or on the aggregate over the 3 years? Is there some percentage of increase that the commission would like to see?
Yeah.
Just as an example, again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really helpful. Okay. Thank you, Jim, for going through all that. I know we're over on the agenda, so I'm sorry. If it's Jim, if that's okay, like again, if we can send this recording, let everyone else put their input, color green,
Yeah, sure.
yellow, red, those colors,
Yeah.
and follow up with the committee just to make sure that they have it. And then LaShannon and I can also take the time to review it. Because I know that we can't spend this whole meeting walking through this. This is why you sent it to us in advance. But I also hadn't had time to review it.
Yeah,
So
we
if
can
that
certainly
works.
do that. Yeah,
Okay.
as long as long as you all can provide the input. So we'll need a little bit of time to kind of collate the stuff.
Yeah. I was thinking honestly, if we can provide this back to you by end of business on Monday, since you did give
Oh
it
yeah,
to
no,
us.
yeah, that would be.
LaShannon, I don't want to take your weekend, so I don't know if that's a possibility for you. But I just figured before everybody went on fall break next week, it would be helpful.
Yeah, that's more than enough time for us to put stuff together. Because what we'll do is we'll take all of the committee input, and the committees are meeting at different times over the next couple of weeks. We'll take all of the committee input and combine it into another document that's similar to the one that's on the screen now, and send that out a week before the retreat. So that'll go out on October the 30th. So if you all have your input back to us next week, that would give us plenty of time.
Okay, perfect. Anthony, would you mind to send this out after? Maybe
Yeah, I
with
can do
with some written instructions and then the video attached to tell them to watch the video for more clarification.
Yeah, sounds good.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Hey, Candace. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Hey, Destiny.
How are you?
How are you? I'm
I'm well.
well. I'm well. That's good. How is school? Everything's going well?
It's fantastic. Honestly, rocking and rolling. You want to know any
That's
history about the
fabulous.
Hebrew Bible? I got you.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I will definitely keep that in mind. And hello to you too, LaShann, and of course, Jim and Anthony. But hello.
And I'm going to jump
Hello,
back over to my
Candace.
other meeting. If you all need me to come back, just Anthony, just shoot me a Teams message and I'll hop back over.
Sounds good.
Thanks, Jim. Appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thanks everybody.
Sorry,
Jim
y'all
and I are
again.
in the same meeting.
Yeah,
No,
I'm
you're good.
sorry. I tried to, but I had questions. Y'all know me.
It actually worked out perfect.
Okay, Candace, this is
Yeah.
helpful time. This is all you, is all I'm saying. This next all you. We
Okay.
just want to know the updates, what you got for us, what do you need from us,
Okay.
et cetera, et cetera.
Okay. Okay. Anthony, don't take this down just yet. Okay, so as far as the conference, I met with the executive committee to basically say that the conference will continue to be this year, well, 2026 rather. It'll be at the Franklin Marriott as it's always been, and the executive committee um, just sort of committed to taking the extra time to make the necessary changes and the improvements for 2027. They felt that if we move things right now, that it just might be something short of a logistical nightmare. I don't want to speak for them, but just as the synopsis. So, so we'll still be continuing the conference as it's been in the past years, and with the hopes of 2027 being reimagined. So before I move to the role of Foundations of Service, any questions, Destiny or LaShawn? We good?
No, ma'am.
So what role does the Foundations of Service play this year? One of the other things that was decided in the meeting was we were also going to hold off on the student track, which was typically where the Foundations of Service came into play with the student scholarships that we were talking about in the past year or so, thinking about larger scale larger scale sponsorships to help sponsor the student track, and just a more thoughtful input on what that looks like, not just with our student track, but also with the audience that we really want to reach with the conference as a whole in general. They took a hard look at just the numbers of how things were broken down for the conference, like how many AmeriCorps members, staff that we have coming to the conference, nonprofit professionals, corporate professionals, just really taking a look at everything across the board um, to make that decision of what is our audience and just being intentional with the buildup from now until 2027. How do we increase the outreach? How do we include the road show? So just the conversations like that to really expand on the brand and just the marketing and the vision of what the conference, Governor's Volunteer Stars Awards, and any other events that could support these marquee events, what that looks like. So they're just going to take a little bit of time to do that so that they're able to get input from the remaining board members, or sorry, commission members, um, take time, do surveys, whatever that looks like. Nathan is a part of chair. I don't want to misquote, but I believe he's chairing that committee um, to do, he's chairing that committee. They're also thinking about what a rainy day fund looks like in case we run into a situation that's similar to this year, to try to not repeat the trying our best not to repeat this year, which was out of our control, absolutely. But what can we do as a volunteer Tennessee's commission just to make sure that we are supporting the vision and the missions that we have? So as far as Foundations of Services role right now, it's award of excellence and then the things that come with the conference, right? So being a part of the meeting, volunteering with the GVSA, possibly the conference, just for right now, that's what I have. And I'm still imagining what role I could have for all 25 commissioners and as well as foundations of service. So right now it's award of excellence and just making sure that we make it as successful as possible. So I'll stop before I kind of get deep into award of excellence. Any questions?
I think you're going to talk about
No,
what
ma'am.
next, what I have a question about. So you're good.
Okay. So let's just go ahead and move on into the award of excellence. So as far as the um, let's just start from the beginning. Okay. So the application review process, outreach and community engagement, um, would in essence be the next step to reach out to anybody that would be interested in applying for the award of excellence. Right now we have 3 applicants. They haven't finished their application, but they have started the application. So there's that. I've sent out just the emails to those that have previously been a part of Award of Excellence. And then, as well as our social media and our newsletter, are the only ways that I have promoted the conference GVSA Award of Excellence everything. So all of those things are just sort of in the queue. So that would I will believe would be just sort of the next step as you have here. Like, what does that look like for getting the information out to our Award of Excellence possible honorees? Let's see. So the sponsorship and scholarship opportunities is more tied to the student track, which will be postponing until 2027. So for right now, there aren't any talks about sponsorship and scholarship opportunities for Award of Excellence because it's just the awards. And for me, since we will be not have Tuesday as a day for the conference, the Award of Excellence will be moved in collaboration with the Governor's Volunteer Stars Awards and all the other awards that we do. It just sort of made sense to just go ahead and put them all together. That way, we are not compromising the students missing school, staff missing school. It's on a Sunday. There's time to travel, time for parents to come, so they're not missing work. Um, so it just made, to me, it just makes a little bit more sense to have the Award of Excellence honored with the other volunteers that are being honored across the state. So there aren't necessarily any opportunities for this year, but I do think that now is the time to imagine what that looks like so that by the time we're done with the conference next year, in 2026, we can go ahead and get out the, hey, would you be interested in being a part of it instead of waiting until the fiscal year turns? Because we at least want to be on their plate, right? Even if it's a no, that's fine, but we at least want them to know, like, hey, we want to be considered for sponsorships. We would love to be considered, to be a part of your giving. But I don't know what those places look like as far as supporting volunteerism for children. So that's just going to require a little bit more just a little bit more research on who has that as their, as a pillar for their. I just don't know who that is. Just to be quite honest, I don't know. Um, Thank you, Anthony. That's what I wanted to say. Create a list of potential sponsors so that when the time comes around, we're able to hit the ball rolling. Even before then, how do we start that relationship with these places, so it's just not a random email that comes across, like how do we get in there? So I do think that could be a conversation that at this point is not rushed. We can take some time and be intentional about what we're doing. So I'll stop right there because we have about 10-ish minutes. I don't know if I answered your question, Destiny, but are there any questions?
LaShawn, do you have anything first? Because I've been talking first the whole time.
You are fine, Destiny. Just a comment. No questions
Yeah, sure.
really, or yeah, just comment more so with the Awards of Excellence. I think another organization I'm a part of too, we're having those same constraints or barriers when it comes to trying to get people engaged in the space, because really we want to recognize the work in which they're doing. But to your point, we can have some offline conversations or even talk more at the upcoming retreat about ways in order to start to build how we build on building trust, and also building those relationships so that it becomes something that people want to apply for. Not that we're having to go out, but we're actually having to push people away from applying for it. And so the organization I'm doing this with right now are brainstorming. So I will definitely bring some of those same ideas and concepts that we think about to the table, because I see the value and benefit of it, and I truly think that it's more so that people are unaware. And so it's the lack of knowing that this exists. And I know that with the staff that you all have, you all can only do so much. But I think that's where the board definitely is going to have to come in to help support you all in that space and sharing it with our networks and even within our different departments, divisions, and offices.
Absolutely. And thank you, Shan. I appreciate your input. If I could add to that, one wish list item that I would love to see is what other value and benefits can we add to our Award of Excellence winners and honorees? Um, it started when I first got here, it started as a certificate. And we've kind of moved up to, of course, you guys know the banner that they're able to hang in their office for that visual presence when people walk in. But I would love to start brainstorming. What are some other things that we can do? I know that this was a strong suit of Miss Betty before she went over to be the vice chair, but what else can we offer? I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not saying that we should do this, but scholarship opportunities, any additional help? Do we just stay at the letter from the governor and the banner that they have? And that's fine if that's the route that we would like to go. But just really thinking about what other benefits are out there for our honorees that have won for our years. Go ahead, Destiny.
I was thinking another benefit. I know we're going to have a government change, so I don't know, but lunch with the governor is what I was thinking.
So,
Um,
you
I'm so
give them some
sorry.
exposure.
You're breaking up. I'm sorry. Say that one more time.
I said that's a great idea.
Okay, so I know I'm on a tight time schedule, so I'm gonna speak this quickly. I think that would be something that was realistic to do. So after they won, um, scheduling a lunch where he's present, but like how we do it for those who win in the state, like employees, when we do the Government Excellence and Service Award for employees, he's one of many people. So we have other people from the cabinet and administration who sit at tables to have conversations with individuals. And that works out really well. And we can just build off of that coordination that we already use. That is like chef's kiss. We have that SOP process to the fullest. So just throwing that out there, depending on who the new governor is and how they feel about that, that could be a good opportunity. That could just be had in the Supreme, like in the Capitol. We don't have to pay for anything when it comes related to renting or anything like that.
I agree. I think that's an excellent idea.
Um, and that honestly can motivate people maybe even more to come. Um, okay.
I would agree. And actually, now that you've mentioned that, another light bulb has gone off in my head because you're absolutely right. By the time we have this award ceremony, the governor will be different. So the things that we had for Governor Lee with the letter, with him and Maria Lee were so awesome to do recorded videos that I can send out so that they're able to promote themselves and be a part of that ceremony. Um, I did not think about that, but that is a potential barrier. I'm not anxious at all, but that is a potential barrier. And it didn't even dawn on me that that would be something to think about.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So that goes
yeah.
into the strategic partnership. Besides, I think I stress this every time. What is the value that we add as volunteer Tennessee, and why do we need to be around? We need to
Yeah.
really be able to articulate what we do. And that's why this data that I'm also requesting of you all when it comes to the strategic plan is pulled out. Because if we don't understand the value we bring, we're not going to be able to tell the next administration what value we bring. So please, let's work on that. Let's get this strategic plan worked out. Because when that new administration changes, we also need to be there for that strategic partnership so they can understand how they can support us in this role. Because we also don't know who the first lady or first man, what their priorities are going to be.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And thank you for mentioning that, Destiny. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah.
Um,
And then my last
I,
question, I'm so sorry, that
yeah,
I
go right
really did
ahead.
have for you. First was a comment. Thank you all for putting in this work and taking your time to explain this to us. If there's a group when we get that potential list or the list that you already have, I would love for you to tell us, like, do you need us to send um, personal emails or approve you to send a personal email on our behalf? And I can send you what I mean is I'm a part of another organization. When they need donors or sponsorships, they craft an email. They say, hey, please review this. Tell us anything you want to add, and we'll send this on your behalf. Give me your signature, and we'll sign it. And that really helps a lot. So if that's something that we can help you with, please loop us in advance so we can give you maybe even a list of potentials that can come from you, and then we can follow up with a supporting email.
That works. I think that that's a two-part email. The first would be just promoting. I think if we're splitting things sort of down the middle 50-50, um, I would love you guys' help with just getting Award of Excellence out there first. Like any avenues that you have for to get the information to schools with the little one pager that we did that really kind of goes into Award of Excellence. So that would be something that could be a goal for the month of October. Just whenever any of the Foundation of Service members have time, just to let your constituents know that we have the Award of Excellence and that we would love to recognize their school for all of the great work that they're doing. And then on the flip side, as we're getting into sponsorships, to your example, um, that would be something that I would love for everybody to get behind, because I would not want the student portion of this to fail just because we don't have money to support it, or one way or the other. So it it will take some thought process, but I do think that initially just getting the information about Award of Excellence out there, um, and then how can we move it a step forward as we're preparing for 2027. So I think that all of these action items are totally doable. And if you guys don't mind me or Anthony sending things out on your behalf, then we can absolutely do that. Or if you feel that you would like to send it out on your own, that's fine as well. Whatever the particular commissioner's preference is, I think we'll be able to support it.
All right, thank you so much. I'll be honest, I have to jump off because I have to be out of my house by 11 o'clock. And that's on me. I'm sorry for overbooking. But thank y'all so much. If there's anything you need from me to do after this, please let me know. LaShan, thanks for showing up. And for those who watched the video, thank you for watching it.
Thank you, guys.
Y'all can keep going.
Thank
I just
you.
have to jump off. I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. I
Yes,
actually
yes. Appreciate you.
I'm gonna hop back over to my meeting. I pulled over to make sure that I was present and had answered any questions. So, but the next meeting, we can go a little bit deeper into the analyzing, well, not analyzing, but actually looking at the Award of Excellence and what's the word I'm looking for? The review process.
Yep, sounds great.
Perfect.
Thank y'all.
Thank you,
All right,
Candace.
everyone.
Thank
Have a
you,
great
Anthony.
weekend.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
LaShawn. Bye,
Destiny.
Destiny.
Weekend.
Bye, Anthony. Anthony, did you need me to? Oh, wait. Did you need me to stick on for a little while?